What is up, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the John Squared Gaming Show. My name is John.
And my name is also John.
And we have a special episode for you guys this week because we have a whole show themed around the number 2. We have...
Shit.
Did everyone just look down at their phone and see if it got paused somehow, or I was gonna respond and then I the thought came across my head that everyone's gonna like look down at their phone and they're gonna be like, did this get paused or did my phone stop somehow? I was honestly gonna do it longer when I stopped.
They cut the episode right after that.
The number 2. Doo-doo. 2 Johns, 2 brain cells, and
give or take
2 games in the series that we're going to talk about later today, and that is The Last of Us Part 2, and the fact that it is the 1 year anniversary on Saturday. But before we get into that, how you doing tonight, John?
You know, I'm alive. We're killing it.
Big vibing.
Yeah.
Just got back from the gym earlier today. Made a quick dinner. Yeah. But
you getting beefy?
I'm trying my damnedest to.
I'm living vicariously through you right now. So I need details.
So real quick,
reps on every machine.
I'll give a quick detail. It's something that I'm really going through. That it's a problem that I really have to figure out. For my cardio, I've been doing the Arc Trainer. Kind of like the elliptical. For those you don't know, the problem that I have is that as I'm going, my fat ass cheeks are chafing. And
they're
so
gonna say clapping.
I wish they were. I really do. But that is causing a slight little rash in between my butt cheeks. And I just can't do. I try to give myself a wedgie. I try to bully myself in the Planet Fitness locker room.
I think that'll make it worse.
No. Because when I did it last week and it helped a lot. I tried to do it today, it did not work. I just got off and I just skipped the rest of cardio. But that sucks, man. You know
what you should do is before you go in, or you could do it in the locker room. You just lay down, spread your cheeks, and have someone pour baby powder in.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, or using like deodorant spray up my butt crack. Because it sucks, and it really like cardio in itself is pain. But when you are also dealing with a booty hole rash, then it's just a lot worse. So that's how my workout went today, and those are the details for my workout. So this is a video game show, everyone.
Welcome to Booty Talk.
So real quick for our like news portion, whatever we're gonna call this, we don't know what it's gonna be yet, but just have 2 quick stories. We were talking right before this about the Blue Box, Abandoned, Hideo Kojima. You haven't really followed along with what's going on. So real quick, this is really fucking stupid, actually. But it could not be. So I at least wanted to talk about it.
Cover our bases. That's all.
It's one of those things where I cannot decide. So before I'll just say there's an indie studio, and there was a game that was posted on the PlayStation blog back in April. It was called Abandoned. It was a horror game. It showed very vaguely some guy it's first person, holding a gun, walking through the woods, and it's about you being dropped off or you waking up in the woods, and you don't know like how you got there, any of that stuff. It looked really creepy. And it all that it really showed was this guy like walking around like holding his gun. There was no like words. There was nothing. So the studio developing this is called Blue Box Studios, and nobody's heard of them before. And there's the lead developer. I'm gonna really botch this. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, come on. What's his name? I really don't even want to try this. Anyways, it's in the Netherlands. His name, if you put his name and you translate it into Japanese, is Hideo. And this would be this isn't the first time that Hideo Kojima would back when Metal Gear Solid 5 was released, there was a fake studio made, and it was called Moby Dick Studios, and obviously it was fake. They just wanted to have the surprise. But this studio has been tweeting, "We are not affiliated with Hideo Kojima or Capcom, and we are not making Silent Hill. Like, we have no affiliation with this." There's a lot of details that are like, I could definitely see this being a Hideo Kojima thing, but they are swearing up and down that it is not Hideo Kojima.
My whole thing is it's always sus when someone's like, "No, we're not doing that."
Well, so the internet was coming, by the internet, I really just mean Twitter, was coming at them basically like with these theories, and a lot of them make a lot of sense. I definitely could see it being Silent Hill. Also, so a couple weeks ago they tweeted, I think actually just E3 was last week. Yeah.
Yep.
They tweeted, I don't think the game is called Abandon. They said Abandon equals guess the game title, and it was starts with S, ends with L. So but they keep swearing it's not Silent Hill.
But why even do that?
Now the lead dev of Blue Box posted a video on Twitter of him saying, like, "I'm a real person. I'm not Hideo Kojima. I promise." This guy, I think his name is Kahraman. Kahraman.
Can you spell it?
Kahraman. Either way,
it didn't help me at all.
He posted a video. He posted a video saying, "Look, I'm real. I'm not Hideo Kojima." I don't know. Either way, this game, we were talking about this game before. I was in on it. A lot of this stuff seems like it could be really cool if it's not Hideo Kojima. It could be good, really good for the game, but also it could be really fucking bad. Like, a part of me kind of felt bad for them because I'm like, oh, they're just this, like, they kept saying we're a small indie studio. We're just making a passion project. We're like, it's not Silent Hill. So I feel like if it does come out to be not Hideo Kojima, people are going to be very upset.
Those diehard fans are going to bury that game.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to them.
Like review bombing. But
yeah.
Then another part of me thinks, why were you leaning into it by the game starts with S, ends with L?
I mean, it could be just to mess with people, but at the same time, like,
yeah,
you got to know what the internet's going to do with that.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was planning on talking about this like last week, because the game was supposed to be revealed yesterday, but got delayed until Friday. There is a PlayStation 5 app that you need to download. By the way, this game is PlayStation 5 exclusive. It'll come to PC later. They don't have a date. They don't have a date for any of it, but they said it's PS5 exclusive first. There's an app that you need to download on the PS5, and then it will show you real-time trailers of the game. It all sounds like shit Hideo Kojima would do, but it's like they're swearing up and down that it's not them.
Oh boy, I'm gonna say something. It's either gonna sound. I think it's gonna sound real dumb. Is he the one that did Death Stranding?
Yes.
Okay. Didn't he do weird shit leading up to Death Stranding?
It wasn't nearly as weird as the stuff with Metal Gear Solid 5, and if this is Kojima, then it wasn't as weird, but that's just the kind of guy that he is.
I was gonna say this seems like his brand.
Yeah.
It's like just mess with everybody, and then because it's funny for him.
Yeah, I'm excited either way. Because I was looking forward to it before. Hopefully, the game is good, and even if it's not Silent Hill and it's not Kojima, hopefully it's good, and people don't get too crazy. Yeah, I'm not gonna. We know that they're going to. I was gonna say hopefully they don't, but that's just the way it is. Then the only other news that I wanted to touch on was the possibility of Dead Space being brought back, and I know you and I both haven't played any of the Dead Space games. It's something that I think I'm going to try, but there was a rumor that EA was bringing back a franchise. I'm getting some feedback from you, so I don't know if
Oh no, it's not. It's an airplane.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
It's not feedback. It's just that they have no respect for the podcast game.
Wow. Okay. So the reason, I'm excited to try Dead Space, but I'm more excited because the EA has kind of come back around on single player games. If it is Dead Space, they haven't even confirmed that it is Dead Space. It's going to be revealed at EA Play, EA Live, EA something, whatever the fucking event is called at the end of January, which Xavier Woods or Austin Creed is hosting, which is really cool.
Is he really?
Yeah. He announced that yesterday.
Why would he want to be affiliated with EA?
Well, that's the thing. EA, I feel like. So this news story, for me, wasn't as much as like, oh, I'm excited for Dead Space. It's more like I'm excited that EA is potentially going back to making these awesome single player games. Jedi Fallen Order, which I still haven't played yet. It is on my
good.
I downloaded it on my Xbox. I did. So I will be playing it at some point. But obviously that was revealed very, very well.
That's turning into a franchise. Not to cut you off, that's turning into a franchise. They're developing a sequel.
Yeah. See,
and I guess they're tying it into like the stuff they're doing on Disney Plus too, the Clone Wars shows and stuff.
That's sick, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Like more of this stuff, please. They announced that they're developing Skate 4. A couple of years ago, EA was like, anything that's not making us money from microtransactions, see ya. We're not doing it. Yeah.
I mean, Skate 4 will have microtransactions, almost guaranteed.
Probably, but that's not why people are going to play it, and it's not going to be the main attraction, I think. It's just really cool to see, hopefully, EA committing to amazing single-player games again. I'd be willing to try Dead Space out, a reboot, whatever it is, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, I'm just excited and hopeful that I think Jedi Fallen Order really was the game that they looked at and were like, oh wait, like it can work. We can make money from this still.
We don't have to be greedy garbage people for every single release. We don't have to recycle Madden and FIFA and every other sports game we do.
Right.
We can do other things.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say, hopefully that's where we're headed. I'm excited for whatever is to come. And I definitely am going to check out Jedi Fallen Order shortly.
I mean, you should. The only I'd be excited if they start doing single player again. But we both know I'll never play Dead Space because it's scary. I don't like spending money to get scared.
So I was turned off to it because I wasn't crazy into horror games when I was younger. But now
Yeah.
that I'm like in, it's considered like a legendary game, so I feel like I have to try it out. And it's on Game Pass, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's free, you might as well.
Yeah. If you didn't have anything else to talk about, then I'm ready to go into the topic of the show.
Head is empty. No thoughts.
Awesome. That's the way to be. All right. So like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, this last Saturday was the 1 year anniversary of The Last of Us Part 2. And I know for the most part, John and I share similar opinions on this game. But I've been really excited to talk about this. Since the game came out, I've been trying to talk to anybody who will listen about this game. This game means a lot to me. It's very special. Go ahead.
I've purposely held off talking to you about it like in detail because I figured one day we were going to do this.
Well, so to start this off, I guess I just want to ask, what are your overall thoughts? Go into.
Great. It's like top 5 game of the last 20 years, in my opinion. And this might be, I don't know if you agree with this. I think it's better than the first one. I think it blows it out of the water in terms of what they tried to do and what they did.
It's definitely something that I've struggled with. Like, not that it really matters at the end of the day, but I was thinking about this yesterday because I actually played part 1. I played it last April when once COVID hit, right before The Last of Us Part 2. And then I played it again a few months ago when I was streaming. So every time I play that game, I love it a little bit more. But playing that game in after the second one, knowing how everything turns out, God, it's just it's so good together as a whole. Like I know they're 2 separate games, but they really are like it's so fluid. It's one story to me.
And that's the thing is like I've gone back and played the second one. I haven't gone back and played the first one yet, but I played it up. Like I finished the first one, and then 2 days later, the second one came out.
Right, I remember.
So I played them right through, and the second one did such a good job at tying up all the loose ends and sort of contextualizing. Should we say? Yeah, these are spoilers. So I mean, if you haven't played it yet,
100%. We are going full blown into spoilers. We are deep diving on everything. So this is your last chance, your last warning. If you have not played this game and plan to, turn it off. Get out of here. Leave. Yeah.
Well, I mean, subscribe, do all that stuff. Come back later.
Yeah.
But for right now, get out.
Yeah.
I don't want you. The way that they sort of showed that people shouldn't have made Joel out to be the hero because he ruined so many lives by the end of that game that you could if part 2 was only if The Last of Us 2 was only Abby's story, she Joel would have been the villain.
100%.
They could have played all the way up to that from the time he killed her father until the end of when she bashes his head in. That could have been the whole game. I think that people have this weird perception of oh, Joel didn't deserve to die because the first one, but it's no, he did. Granted, I get where he was coming from. This, we've had this conversation. You struggle to see if what he did was the right thing to do. But from a broader perspective, he doomed the world to save one person.
Yeah.
He is the villain.
Right. And it's so tough because we had I know you had played the first one for the first time right before this game, but I played this game when it came out, and I remember just falling in love with both characters. And at the end of that game, I remember thinking, I don't think I would have done anything different. If it, like and I'm not saying that it's right, but and it's impossible to know what you would do in that situation. You can speculate, sure. It is impossible to know what you would actually do. And I just remember thinking, God, like I love Ellie so much. I don't know how I could have let that go through as well. You know, like I don't know if I could have let her be killed for the sake of the world.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, the way I think about it is like if someone said that the cure to, oh, this is, I'm going to sound like a gigantic piece of shit.
No, go
If
ahead.
someone said that, oh no, just wait. If someone said that the cure to cancer was in my dog and they would have to kill my dog, I'd fucking shoot the person too. They're not killing my dog.
Yeah.
No shot.
I said the same thing about my dogs. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's really tough. But
that's, I mean, sorry, keep going.
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
To write that story so where it is so ambiguous and then be able to pick that up and basically explain the developer's standpoint, I feel. But like even Troy Baker said, like Joel's not a hero and you shouldn't idolize him as a hero.
Right.
Like to explain that perspective and have people not get it is what it still to this day throws me off.
Right. I was just gonna rewind a little bit. I thought a lot about how I would summarize this game. This game is probably for 100% it is my favorite story any video game has ever told. If not one of it, it's probably my favorite game ever made. And I know what I'm about to say is just going to make a lot of people cringe, and I'm aware. So everyone get your cringy face on right now. Listen, I know how this is gonna sound. I know, and I'm not sorry for it.
Excited.
This game, it's really corny. This game is not a game that you can just play. You have to experience this game. And what I mean by that, cringe now, get it out of the way. What I mean by this is not a game that you can just half-ass. You have to put your whole heart into this. You have to focus and you have to pay attention to this game because there is so much that you can miss if you're not paying attention if you're looking down at your phone or you're talking to someone while you're playing it. This is not something that there's so much talking between the characters on screen where it gives a little bit more into the story, but you really have to immerse yourself in this world and for you to fully get what this game has to offer, I think that you need to just fully commit yourself to it. Put headphones on and you are in the world, because if not, then I get why a lot of people who either didn't play the first one or are casual gamers played this game and were like, I know revenge is bad. Duh. But
even that they haven't touched the first one since it came out. So now you have that however many year gap, you're jumping into this, either with a cloudy memory or I don't know, your perspective could have changed.
Right. This game to me, sure, there's themes of revenge, but that's not what this game is about to me. This game is about redemption and love and like that being stolen from somebody. The fact that Joel did this horrible, horrendous thing, and lied to somebody that he loves, and you throughout the whole game you're wondering why, like Ellie hated him. Why is she so upset? And then when you get to that scene where they're on the porch, a scene that I'm not fucking kidding. I just got goosebumps thinking about this. You
Big
get
same.
you get to that scene and I fucking cried. I remember I literally paused the game and just my hair standing up the back of my head.
The line, I don't know if I can forgive you, but I want to try. And that being the last conversation they had
Yeah.
is so heartbreaking.
Dude, I'm not even like the hair on the back of my fucking neck is standing up just thinking about this. That was done perfectly. And and that being Joel redeeming himself to Ellie, someone that she loved like a father, that being ripped away from her. It's another one of those things where you can't tell me that you know 100% how you would react in that situation. There's no way.
It's the only person she had left. I mean,
And
she had the people in that. Is it Jackson? Right? Yeah.
Jackson
so she
was
had
the town.
Yeah, she had the people there, but it wasn't Joel.
Right.
I mean,
in the first game, when I played it after the second game, she says, everyone that I cared about has either died or left me.
mm-hmm.
And like, oh god, fuck.
And Joel dies and Dina leaves her.
And yeah, so I know that a lot of people are saying like this game like isn't just about revenge. It's the cycle of violence, that stuff. But that is not like that's not the main thing to me. So like yeah, that cycle that she reacted, the way that she reacted to Joel's death was the only way that she knew.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. She didn't care about living at that point. She just wanted to kill the people that killed him.
Her father figure's death, like Joel. It was. I know it's not her dad. I understand that, but he taught her. Connor just walked in the room.
I was gonna say who's in horny jail right now?
It's Connor. She learned how to be an adult through him, and all the stuff that he in the first game, these horrible things that he did. I like granted she didn't get to see like actually see what he did in the hospital, but which is the like the most like
the
egregious, yeah. But the stuff that he did to all these people and that's all she knew because that's the world that she grew up in. I think people lose sight of that.
To counter the point that I made earlier about him being the villain, Abby's dad could have just stood down. He didn't have to, because maybe they wouldn't have a cure right then, or the next 5 years.
Right,
but
because
they could have found one.
It was not guaranteed.
And that's the thing is like maybe find a dead clicker and dig into them and try to build it that way. I know that the supplies aren't like what they are now, but
right.
Still, you didn't have to pull a scalpel to them and say, "Oh, I'm gonna do it." No, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I think they set Naughty Dog set it up at the end of the first game to, basically make you feel why Joel would have done it. So I mean, the Fireflies were acting like a bunch of assholes at the end of that game. You see, like when they're walking Joel out of the hospital, he's like hitting them, like nudging them, like stuff like that. Where you're like, "Fuck you, dude! Don't like." If someone was doing that to me, like I wouldn't respond. I mean, he didn't only not respond nicely. He fucking killed every single person.
Yeah, he killed about 48 people in about 10 minutes. So, did Ellie ever ask about what's her name? Who was like the head Firefly?
I don't remember her name.
Because I don't remember her ever being mentioned again at the end of the first one or in the second one.
I don't.
And that's kind of weird for Ellie to just be like, "Oh yeah, this person that's basically been like my mother." What did she have to say about the situation?
It's not Marlene, is it?
Yeah, it might be.
Is it Marlene? Um, yeah, I maybe. Yeah, I think it was Marlene. Maybe she. No, I don't. I don't think that she did. I think they just left and um,
Yeah,
maybe
I don't think they plan to make a second one until they saw how successful that one was.
they had an idea. And they're when playing through the first one again, there are. I mean, obviously they could just when they're playing the first one or like looking through that story, they could have just spaced a lot of the stuff off of that when they're going. But it seemed like they planned on more. Um, I know they did the DLC right after they started. Right after the first one came out, they just started working on DLC, which is Left Behind. I don't know if you played that. Um,
No.
you should. It's really good. But um, shit. Well, sorry. I lost lost track. Um, Mar
But I mean, in terms of like plot holes, I think that's the only one
the
that
Marlene
I've
part.
noticed. Yeah, is that she just kind of got left behind.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. And like I said, I don't know if it was like maybe it was in passing. Like I can't remember off the top of my head. Because it could have just been one of those things where it was a flashback to Joel and Ellie, and it was a passing thing. I don't know. It could have been,
Yeah.
but either way, this game does so much. It's not. There are so many connections drawn to between the first and the second one that it's honestly it's easy to miss it.
Yeah.
Through the conversations that characters have on the screen, like while you're playing as one of the characters, just like little banter back and forth. Um, but yeah, I think this game is an absolute masterpiece in storytelling. I don't like something that I did early on when this game came out was I would look for people who didn't like the game and I would pick fights with them. And this game actually,
Naturally.
um, this game obviously this has nothing to do with like the theme of the game or anything like that, but this is the game where I decided in my life to stop looking for things to get upset about. Um, Now everyone's going to agree with me, and I don't need everyone to agree with me. I don't need other people to think that this game is awesome for me to love it. But I get it. One thing I will say, because I don't want to be like, oh, people who hate this game are wrong. Um, People who make the argument that Ellie wouldn't have responded this way, or you wouldn't have responded this way, if you were in that situation because you hated the person, hated Joel. Um, if if you think that, why do you, how can you justify the outrage and the amount of people who stopped playing after Joel died? Joel's death, people got that upset. People sent death threats to like the actors, the developers, because Joel died. If
Yeah, a
you
bunch of fucking piss babies. Go outside once in a while.
if you got that upset over that, how can you how can you think that Ellie wouldn't be even more outraged?
If you get into a fight with one of your parents and then you watch your parents get bludgeoned to death, are you gonna say, "Well, I don't care"? No, you're gonna get pissed and you're gonna go after the person in
Y-
one way or another. I'm not saying you're gonna go after them, kill everybody they know, but
yeah, like it, but this isn't like, this is not like if somebody, if somebody did that to my parents, um I can't say that I would go after them and murder them. I wouldn't. I don't know if I could. Like I don't know what I would do. I really don't. Like I said, like the only thing you can really do is speculate for these sort of things. But Um, this is not that The Last of Us is not in a normal world. This is a world where Ellie has been passed around to from different places.
Okay, there we
Hey,
go.
come on, relax. She and like she said, everyone that she has ever loved or cared about has died or left her.
Yeah.
So this is not like a normal you like your parents raised you or whatever. This is completely different, and this is the only thing that she knew was violence. This is what Joel taught her it was violence. So she reacted the only way she knew how.
And I wouldn't even blame Joel. I would blame the world they live in. Because, I mean, if you think about it, that's what Joel kept saying, is that he did what he had to do to survive. He
Right.
wasn't a good person or a bad person. He was just doing what needed to be done. And sometimes what needed to be done was, cutting someone's neck open.
There's a line in the first game when I was playing it on Twitch. And Ellie's talking. It's one of the notes, that was found, and it was talking about someone getting revenge or something. And Joel said, "Well, that's pretty stupid. Like no one wins there." About revenge. It and like I don't know if that was planned or if that because like I said, that's foreshadowing in a way where I don't know if they knew they like you said if they didn't know exactly what they were doing in the second game. That I mean, but what Ellie did is not what Joel would have wanted her to do. I don't think. Um, I don't think Joel would want her to go avenge his death. I think he
No.
would want her to stay at the farmhouse with Dina. He would want her to move on and be happy.
And that like last scene between her and Dina, where she's getting ready to leave, and Dina's like, "Don't, like we got everything here, we're good. Don't do this." She's like, "Nope, got to do it," and she doesn't even do it.
Right.
And not even that. So at that point, she had lost Tommy because he's pissed at her. She's lost Joel because he was, knocked into a hole in one.
Mm-hmm.
She lost Dina and their daughter because she couldn't listen. She lost her, I don't know his name, their friend, the one who gets blasted by Abby, and then just as the Dina's baby's father.
Shit.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. I keep wanting to say Tommy, and I know it's wrong, so that's why I'm not saying his name.
Same. I kept thinking Tommy, but I'm like, obviously that's not it.
And then she lost her finger, so she couldn't even play guitar anymore, which is like the one thing she had left of Joel. That was another part of the game that absolutely wrecked me. Because when you think that was one of the only things she had left of Joel. He taught her how to play guitar, and her going out and doing this, it took that away from her again. Just, dude, it was so fucking perfect the way that they did it, and it's so weird because a lot of people say the point of video games is to have fun, and I did not have fun playing this game. But I love that a form of media can make me feel like this. Can like make me feel real emotions as if this were happening to me in real life. When I saw that and she was strumming, and it is another moment where I just sat there and like I just set the controller on my lap for a second, and like tears were just coming down my face, and Lauren was on the couch next to me and just like, "Are you all right?" When the credits rolled, I felt completely empty. I felt like everything had been taken from my life, and I was frozen. I literally had the controller. I just was frozen there throughout the entire credits. I could not move. And
that is just a credit to Neil Druckmann and the storytelling for this game. It just, god damn, man.
And I mean, that's no one won. I mean, you could say that Abby and Lev won because they got away together, but Abby also is starving to death, hasn't had water, and has like 8 stab wounds now.
Mm-hmm.
So did she really win?
That's so. I guess I'll save that question for a little bit. But what were your first thoughts when you first took over as Abby?
I think I told you that I audibly said, "What the fuck is happening?" And then I got upset for the first like 15, 20 minutes. Wait, are you like the beginning of the game or like second half of the game?
No, like when you like took over,
like played her story.
Yeah.
I didn't understand for the first like 10, 15 minutes. And then when I started understanding, I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. Because at first I didn't want to sympathize with her. And then the more I learned about her, the more I was like, okay, she's in a similar situation.
Yeah. I hated it at first. When I first took over as Abby, I was like, just okay, let's get through this so we can get back to Ellie.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I get what they're trying to do. Okay, yep. And then the more you play as Abby, for me at least, and I know a lot of people didn't feel the same way, but as you kept playing as Abby and finding out more about her and seeing stuff with her father and her friends, you that's where you start to see, it, like, just like I would say if I were Joel, I would have done what he did. Maybe if I were Ellie, I would respond the same way. This with Abby, the same fucking thing. Like, that is your actual father, and he was gonna save the world. He was potentially going to fix this, the disease or fucking infection or whatever. He was going to solve it. That's your superhero, and that was taken away from you. So, yeah, I would be fucking livid too. I would, like I said, I don't know if I could confidently say I would go after the person, but maybe I
have to cut my camera for a second, but we can keep going.
Okay. But yeah, when I first took over as Abby, I like I said, I just was like hoping, or I was like, let's just get through this. Let me get back to Ellie, because that's the character I cared about. And at the end of the game, it's crazy how I found myself thinking, like, Ellie, what are you thinking? Like, I was rooting for Abby at the end. I'm just like, I hope she gets away. I hope
Abby kind of became the hero in a way, which is weird.
Because she started to redeem herself with Yara and Lev. Lev is her redemption, and fuck, man, if they, so I was gonna ask this earlier, and then I said I'd wait till later, but if they do make another one, if it's a DLC or if they make another game where it is Abby and Lev, they better fucking not draw the same parallel where Abby's redemption is stolen from her. But because Joel's redemption to Ellie was stolen, this is Abby's chance at redemption, and she got away with Lev. What were you gonna say?
I can see them trying to kill Lev, and if they do, I will be upset.
Yeah, I loved Lev. I loved that story. I loved the line where Abby's killing WLF, and Lev goes, "Those are your people," and she's like, "You are my people." That's another one of those lines that it's so memorable for me. That's it. that's where the switch kind of like you could see her, um, like looking at her like the decisions that she's made and the situation that she's in. She saw where her life was going, and she was able to look at that, and with the help of what's his name, the her boyfriend, um do you remember his name?
Owen.
Owen, yes. And Owen, where Abby asks like what happened, and he said, I guess we just stopped looking for the light because they were fireflies before. I think that is something clicked in her then, where she was like, I have to end this cycle. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep like Ellie going after me going after Ellie. And then I have to end this, and she did effectively at the end. So yeah, she became the hero.
And I think that's the major difference. It's like Ellie lost everything. She gained nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And Abby's at least getting this chance to like turn things around. Granted, as far as I remember, she didn't kill everybody, like all the wolves. So she's gonna have a lot of enemies. But that they did like go into that all out fight where they're killing each other.
Right. That was a fucking crazy set piece to ride, like when you're riding the horse through them.
Yeah.
Jesus.
My thing is, if they do make a third one, I could, and it'll upset a lot of people, I could see it being just Abby and Lev. Or it could be Abby and Ellie have to team up or work together to maybe protect Lev and Dina.
I think that I'm fine leaving Ellie's story where it ended.
What else are you gonna do with it? That's my thing. I mean, you could bring her back to Jackson, and then what?
Maybe don't call it The Last of Us, but I would love to have a game where it is Abby and Lev, and I get to experience that more, because that's where the hope is. Like that's where, like, things are going to start turning around from there. Hopefully, whatever they find, there's so much more to tell there. I would like to see it, whether it's called Fireflies or some other spin-off game where those are the characters. Maybe it is Last of Us Part 3. Who fucking knows? I think a lot of people would push against that, just because it's not Joel and Ellie anymore, and to them, but the people who think that they know these characters and know the story better than the person writing it and the characters playing it, you don't get to decide who, like, the direction of somebody's art. And a lot of people try doing that. I get it that you don't have to buy it, then don't. But the game sold well.
Wasn't like the fastest selling game to like of all time, or to hit a certain number or something.
It was like 4 million copies, and like I forgot how it. And then since they haven't talked about, they said that they weren't going to talk about sales numbers anymore, and I don't know the reasoning behind that, but it still is like, it was still on like charts weeks after and stuff. So
from what I can remember, it was because people kept saying the numbers were fibbed, and that the studio was buying copies to make it seem like they did a really good job, and all. Yeah, it was a bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
The thing is, I in a sense, because I mean, it's called The Last of Us because it's the last living people. So if it was Abby and Lev, it would still make sense to call it The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I think if I had to guess, or like at least what I want, is a DLC to further explore how they, got away from that weird camp, and maybe how they, like, if they settled anywhere,
right?
If so, where?
Well, at the end of the game, the boat and everything, it's like this. The sun is risen, and then they're on the boat. I think that kind of signals that they got to where the Fireflies were. I'm drawing a blank on where they were headed. I am replaying this again. I'm just about to hit Abby, so the details aren't like super fresh, but they just I think that and Neil Druckmann was asked about it, and he was like, well, I guess we'll see, or something like that. So
yeah, they just said like maybe a month or two ago that they are doing a third game.
I didn't see anything confirming that. I know that they're working on a game, but I don't know if it's Last of Us related.
Well, they said they're working, or it's not going to be for another few, I think it was around 5-6 years, but they are working on. It's in the very, very early stages of development.
Yeah, I saw something saying that they were they had an idea and a layout basically planned, but nothing to do with it yet. Like I said, I really wouldn't mind just a spin-off game with Abby and Lev. I don't know how well it would do, but that's just what I would prefer. I think and it's kind of fucked up to think that a character that I love so much in Ellie, her story left off in like emptiness and loneliness, but at the same time, she kind of got what she deserved.
And that's the thing is, what if they do another story with Ellie? What are they gonna do? Her trying to win Dina back? I mean, then it's not the same thing,
right?
Plus, who wants to see that?
Yeah, that's not. I don't know how you do that through gameplay. Like, do you write songs and only play the guitar? So, what do you do at that point? We don't know where Dina went. She just doesn't want to be with Ellie anymore.
She wants to be with Abby now. That's The Last of Us 3.
I don't think that's I don't think that's how it works. The only other thing that I was thinking that I wanted to touch on was the Seraphites.
Those are the people with the hoods, right?
Yeah, the fucking the whistling.
Nah, fuck that. They scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, that's where the survival horror, when you're in that, and I have since this game came out, I've started to play almost all of my games exclusively through headphones. And when you would hear that whistle, your heart would almost go ahead.
That big motherfucker. I think it was that big woman that kept coming at you with the giant hammer.
Yeah.
Bro, she scared the shit out of me. I did not like that one bit. It is almost similar to in Breath of the Wild when you would hear that the piano, and when the machines would get going, when you heard the little whistle, my heart rate would go up, like, oh fuck, I would get on edge. That is the only other thing I feel needs to be explored. And that's sort of why I thought maybe they go looking for Lev to get him back. But it's also, I mean, the final camp when you're going after Abby and Lev.
Right.
Who the fuck were they?
I believe those were the Seraphites. Oh, no.
They're just a third group that use clickers and stuff.
Right.
As pets. Who the fuck are they? Where'd they come from? Where have they been?
Yeah, that's why I think that it just makes the most sense to go with Abby and Lev going forward. The thing is, at the end of the first game, when I played it, I didn't think, God damn, I need a sequel. But I was happy to play more of it, and I was so nervous for this game because I thought, what if they fuck this whole thing up? And to a lot of people, they did, but to me, they just made this they continued the story, and I guess a part of me is just like quit while you're ahead. But if they can, and so at the end of this game, I'm like, if this is it, perfection to me. If they do another one, I trust them enough. I trust them enough to continue the story and make it as compelling as this one is. But
My
go ahead.
Naughty Dog has my complete trust. The Uncharted franchise, uh, Last of Us, Jack and Daxter, even Crash and Bandicoot. Never been a bad game.
Crash and Bandicoot.
I said Crash Bandicoot. Stop.
Yeah. It. So what I was saying was they hopefully like this series has been dark, obviously.
Yeah.
That's a setting. With another game in any like a spin-off or whatever, I think you can start to get to a point where it's you're reaching and you're getting towards a lighter like lighter themes like hope and redemption and all this stuff that the first two games were not about. So I would be excited if they announced right now that part 3 is coming out, whatever, like but I'm at a point right now where if they never made another one, I could leave it at where it is and just be like, this is collectively, these two games are absolute fucking masterpieces, masterclass on how to. They set the bar for storytelling, and it is an impossible bar to reach. It is very difficult.
So let me ask you: are you going to watch the show?
100%. And
Okay.
the show is for me, because this is a series that I went to work after playing this game, and I told everyone about this. Like to people. I mean, a lot of people are just like, "Yeah, shut the fuck up! Like we don't care about video games. You nerd, shut up." And then I said, "I'm your boss. You have to listen to me."
There you go. That's how you do it.
No, but I anyone who would listen to me, I would talk to about this game.
Yeah.
This is the and now that we get this in a form of media that is more accessible to people, like I said, coworkers who are in their 30s who don't play video games, they're not going to pick this up. They're not going to play this game. I could beg and plead with them to play it. They're not going to. And now that we're getting this in a form of media where, yeah, okay, I'll sit down and watch this. In the same way that I was nervous about the second game not like living up to the first.
Yeah.
I am very nervous about this because video games have not had a good track record when they try to move into TV shows or move into movies. They have not historically delivered, and so I am nervous about that, but I am a little more hopeful that they do, because Neil Druckmann is like involved in the process. I think that this might be the one that they hit on. And
just the people that are playing Joel and Ellie are incredible actors and actresses. I mean, it has all the tools to be another HBO staple.
Yeah.
It's just after the adaptation of Game of Thrones bombed so horribly in the end, will people give something like this a chance? And even that, because they said it's not going to be word for word the game. They're going to change stuff up to better fit a television like adaptation.
I think that they should have them looking for supplies and like scissors and tape and cloth and alcohol. I think that they really should, just to be true to the game,
And they, whenever they get cut, they have to just quick wrap up, keep them moving. You never have. They make the bomb. They just toss stuff together real quick, and then they're good to go. I think all that would be really good for TV.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sorry. I don't know I didn't know if you were done with your point, but
no, I was. I mean, I can see it being really good.
Yeah,
HBO has this weird thing where like shows only are good for like the first 3 or 4 seasons. So I'm hoping they cap it at that, just so they don't ruin it. But Uh, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that looks like for like the games. Like are they're I know that they're going to change things up, but most likely a lot of the major events are still going to happen. Um is that going to like are we going to if we do get another game, are we going to get to a point where because for us we know mostly what is going to happen in the TV show.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to a point where the TV show gets a little bit ahead and then the game like I that's the only thing that I'm like interested to see how that plays out. Um and also I fear that people are going to look at this and be like, "Oh, another zombie show." Um
Well, I
oh,
mean,
another Walking Dead.
yeah.
Um
Well, that's what I was just gonna bring up. The Walking Dead, the show got ahead of the graphic novels. Game of Thrones, the show got ahead of the books. With this, in a perfect world, seasons 1 and 2 will be just the first game.
mm,
Seasons 3 and 4 will be the second. And then by then, 4 years will have passed, and then there'll be a new game.
if they're doing that. But I when I was describing this game to my like friends and coworkers, um,
You have friends?
just a few. Um, I, I mostly mean my dogs. I just told
There
them
you
all
go.
about this game.
That makes more sense.
I explained this that I explained to them that this yes there are like zombies clickers in this, but this franchise is not as much about humans versus zombies. It's about humans versus humans,
Yeah.
and zombies are there. It's not it's the first game starts off in that way, but once Ellie's introduced, this is not a zombie story. This is a human and humanity story. This is not,
Yeah.
and I guess The Walking Dead in some way, like yeah, sure. Not that I know because I stopped fucking watching after season 5 or whatever.
I stopped
But
it when they stormed the prison. They cut the old man's head off.
I really don't remember much about that. But
All right.
dude, I think I remember the last thing I remember is they killed Glenn, and I was like, I'm done. I'm over this. But yeah, I am like I said, I'm fearful, but I also am a little hopeful that they get this right. I'm just really nervous because this is a franchise that is now a part of me in a lot of ways. This is very important to me, and I hold this very like dear, and I want them to make sure that it's being taken care of, and the fact that Neil is there and he's the one who fucking made this anyways. Um you know, I trust him, and I just pray that it turns out good.
Yeah. I mean, I pretended that the Assassin's Creed movie didn't exist because that was really bad, and that's as much as everyone hates Ubisoft for good reason. That franchise will always be one of my favorites. And now they're doing a show on Netflix, so I gotta pretend that I don't see that as well. Just gonna be fun.
I didn't even know that they had a movie.
Yeah, they got to move. The dude who plays Magneto in like the newer X-Men movies, Michael Fassbender,
Mm-hmm.
he plays the assassin, and instead of like the animus tube that you lay down in, it like has an arm and it attaches to your back and you can like move. Garbage.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
mean
really
about
bad.
video games translating to other media.
Oh, but
Um,
hang on, the Sonic movie, 10
yeah,
out of 10.
exceptions. There are small exceptions here and
That's
there.
that was the last, except for Mortal Kombat. We'll forget about that too. Sonic was the last video game adapted to the screen that worked. So
Yeah, I can't really think of many other that in like the history that have worked. But yeah, so is there anything else that you wanted to touch on with The Last of Us?
uh, I just I don't know. I think that anyone that dislikes it because uh, Ellie was gay and that felt forced, or Lev was trans and that felt forced, or Abby was buff and that felt forced, is a gigantic piss baby and should have their rights to opinions revoked. I don't think they deserve them, because I feel like at that point you're just being a piece of shit to be a piece of shit. You don't understand how the real world works in the first place. I it's very frustrating. I'm trying to stop myself from going on a tangent.
No, I get you, and I will say that the people who love this game, not everybody who doesn't like this game is homophobic, transphobic, they're sexist. That is, you can't just put that on everyone who doesn't like this game. It's fair for people not to like this, but the people who that's why you don't like this game, get fucked. Like,
yeah,
complete, like, just
big
fuck
piece
you.
of shit. Live in your mom's house. You are the stereotypical gamer, the one that they depicted on like South Park. Dude, that was like this.
Yes, that's you.
Yeah.
And also my another message to the people who love this game: don't feel, and not even just this game, every game, anything that you love, really, stop feeling like you need to justify that and that everyone else has to share the same opinion as you. To me, it has helped me so much, and it sounds so stupid to even say, but once I started putting my energy into just loving this and just promoting, like, even with the Game Awards, I felt myself being like pulled into where I'm like, this is Game of the Year, everyone vote for if anyone who said this is the Game of the Year, like, I wanted to fucking I just put my phone away, just get out, just stop. You don't have to justify it, just love it. And don't, like, you don't have to, not everyone has to love the things that you love, and you don't have to justify it to everybody. Just love it.
Yeah. I mean, Game of the Year, Ghost of Tsushima would have been if that would have won, I wouldn't have been upset. But this definitely deserved it. I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, it's arguably one of the best games of the last 20 years. And I think video games have only existed, at least in my mind, the 70s didn't happen. Pong never existed. Video games started with the PS1.
Yeah, you said fuck the NES, fuck the SNES. Fuck.
Oh, it's still, I said it last week, I'll say it this week. Fuck Nintendo. We ain't about them here. Unless they want to sponsor us, in which case I will retract all that.
Yeah, I ain't fucking doing that.
Fuck them.
I consider myself the keeper, one of the keepers of the console wars, and I say it's PlayStation, Xbox, and Zelda. Those are the only.
You got to move over so you can see Xbox and Zelda, though. You're only showing PlayStation. There you go. You got to sit like that the rest of the day.
I also have a little Triforce next to the Xbox because Zelda is the only other major company.
It makes it feel like being a virgin.
I wouldn't know.
All right, that's fair enough.
And then the last point that I want to make is this is a message to Neil Druckmann, Naughty Dog, and everybody in the games industry making video games. Please, this is my favorite series and probably my favorite game of all time, but please stop making us kill dogs. Please stop doing it.
Didn't you know you didn't have to kill the dogs? You could just walk around them.
Yeah, I'm not good enough at video games to not kill the dog. I'm not.
I fucking hate that excuse. I killed one by accident. I killed two. The one by accident where I was trying to shoot somebody, I accidentally had explosives on, and it blew up everything.
Once you get the arrow that explodes,
yeah.
What can you do?
I tried using a normal arrow and didn't. And then there was the one that you have to kill in the story, and that one was upsetting.
They gave him a name.
We didn't talk about the fact that Ellie stabbed a pregnant woman. She killed a pregnant woman, killed the baby by, association, and then also killed the father.
Yeah,
within like 5 minutes. And their dog. She killed an entire family in like 5 minutes with zero remorse.
And that's why I said ultimately her being left with nothing is what she deserved.
I mean, Abby was fixing to do the same thing.
Right. And Lev was the like, no, like she said, no, like don't do it.
He said no.
That's my, yeah, I was talking about Abby, and that was my bad. I apologize. But yeah, that's, she, like I said, she got what she deserved in the end.
Bro, that's what I'm like. If Last of Us 3, she gets beat out with a golf club, kind of deserved it.
Yeah, just the dog thing. I get that the objective was to make you regret and make you feel the decisions that you were making. But making those dogs sound so realistic and just, God, please stop. Like, find another way, please.
Is there not bad enough that when you kill a clicker, their throat gargles? Why do we have to kill the dogs too? Please stop it.
And then
do anything else. Do a robot. It's 2021. Come on.
Then a month later, when Ghost of Tsushima came out, we had to kill dogs in that game too.
I don't. I let them kill me. I won't do it.
It's just like, just please fucking stop.
That's why I only play The Sims. In The Sims, you raise dogs. You don't kill dogs.
I'm begging and pleading with you to be more like The Sims, and that's something I never thought I would say.
Let us woohoo in the middle of the bushes. I'm begging you, Neil Druckmann.
On that note, we're gonna call it right there. Thank you to everyone who has been stopping by, checking us out. We will be back next week with episode 3. No fucking clue what we're talking about just yet, but come by next week and find out.
We'll figure something. We'll talk about The Sims again.
Sure. Until then, my friends, stay horny, stay hydrated. Peace.